right. Well, today we are continuing our focus on our intention to be a newer, truer version of ourselves this year. To express the best version of ourselves wherever we are. Well, we're 18 days into the new year, so the question is, have we been paying attention to our intention? To see how well we're doing with that intention. Keeping our intention for this year active in our awareness, keeping it in the forefront of our mind as we live our daily lives this year is important. If we don't, we might find that we have an intention deficit that won't move us at all in the direction we want to go. Now, because we can't live the whole year all at once to see how well we did, we've got to rely on the best version of ourselves showing up moment to moment to let us know how well we're doing as we go. And we know how well we're doing by the good feeling we're feeling as we go from moment to moment. Good is natural for us to feel. And that's why we're miserable when we don't feel it. If misery were natural to us, it wouldn't bother us. We wouldn't mind being miserable. But we do, because good is natural for us to feel. But even though feeling good is natural, a good feeling may surprise us when we feel it in a situation where we usually don't. When something that we usually react to in a negative way doesn't trigger us, doesn't get our goat. That's when we know we're making progress. When we discover that we're actually not letting anything that is happening around us keep us from being who we truly want to be. Now, as we've already noted this month, any change that's going to become more consistently active for us in moving us in a positive direction this year is energized and strengthened and fortified in any moment that we succeed in expressing that change. When we succeed in being the positive, happy, clear-minded, peaceful being that we intend to be, no matter what's going on. We know when we're not succeeding because we don't feel good. We feel negative emotion. Abraham Hicks tells us negative emotion always means the same thing every single time, no matter what it is. My thought or my behavior is moving in opposition with who I really am and what I really want. But sometimes we don't notice a dip in our positive vibration right away. Negative emotion can be such a habit that we don't pay much attention when it pops up to bring us down. We don't notice that a thought or a behavior is moving us in opposition to who we really are and what we really want. We miss the subtle message, the guidance, that negative emotion is intended to give us. It lets us know we've fallen momentarily into an old habit of reacting in a negative way or thinking in a negative way that isn't going to be helpful for us. But often, it's not until our negative emotions have gotten out of hand that they get our attention. We're on a rant of negativity that seems to have taken on a life of its own. And we realize that it's exhausting us and that we're nowhere close to being the best version of ourselves. And that's when we realize we need to take a break, to rest, to re-intend. That's why Abraham Hicks tells us, if you're confused, take a nap. If you're angry, take a nap. If you're mad at someone, take a nap. If you feel unworthy, take a nap. In other words, don't try to figure anything out from those lower vibrations. And if we're not in a place where we can take a nap, we still need to take a timeout. We don't need to take a timeout because we've been bad, need to stand in the corner. We need to take a timeout to feel the good that we are, to let our emotions settle. Because nothing good comes to our mind from those lower vibrations. And when my granddaughter was a little girl, a timeout for her, if she was getting carried away with negative emotion, was to sit on her mother's lap and with her mom's arms around her, lovingly holding her until she calmed down. That was her timeout. I believe that's what Rumi was saying when he said, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. We meet who we really are and what we really want by giving our mind a rest from thoughts about happenings around us or happenings in our individual lives, thoughts about what we don't want. We give ourselves a rest, we give our mind a rest by sitting still and silently, by breathing slowly until we feel love embracing us and we calm down. When we take time for a timeout, we align with our natural good feelings and our positive emotions and our high vibrations. And when we do, we experience a shift that gives us a new perspective on ourselves and what we truly want next. Abraham Hicks asked, isn't it nice to know when it's time to take a nap or take a time out? Isn't it nice to know when it's time to disengage from whatever it is? Are you giving up the struggle? Yes. Are you giving up the angst? Yes. But we're gaining so much more. A time out from this world. Sitting in the power of silence with mental and emotional clarity, which is to say, letting our thoughts just float without engaging with any of them, no matter what they are. It gives us a newer truer awareness of the one we're created to be. The one that's always present within us to express as us anytime we're ready to allow it to. Recently I read a Facebook post about something that took place on October 15th, 1962, in the middle of the Cuban Missile Crisis. Maybe some of you read it, or some of you already know what occurred on that day. But I'd like to share it anyway because it's such a beautiful example of the power of a timeout. On that day, Jackie Kennedy noticed that her husband, Jack, hadn't eaten in 48 hours. And he was running on coffee and adrenaline. And so she personally fixed him a roast beef sandwich and walked into the cabinet room during a tense meeting with the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and she set the sandwich in front of him, and then she said, "Gentlemen, my husband needs to eat, and all of you need to take a 10-minute break because exhausted men make terrible decisions." And then she stood there until every single advisor left the room. Secretary of Defense Robert McNamara later told historians that Jackie's interruption actually may have prevented catastrophe because we were all operating on fumes and fear. And those 10 minutes she forced us to take allowed cooler heads to prevail. As we talked about last Sunday, today's world can make us feel as if we're coming unhinged. Shock after shock seems to confront us. So many people seem to be operating on fumes and fear. The darkness of violence, threats of war are seemingly everywhere. When our conversations are about the horrible, hateful happenings in our country and around the world, it causes us to feel negative emotion. When we allow negative thoughts and behaviors to take over our mind, we've literally joined the vibration of the dark side. And nothing good can ever come from those lower vibrations. The good news is we live in a world of contrast, where light is present even where darkness seems to be. For example, walking in the light. Right now, as many of us know, are 24 gentle Buddhists walking in peace for peace. And millions of hearts and minds are joining them in spirit and in person. There's no power, no positive result in being for something and fighting against its opposite. In fact, when we're angry and we fight against, we add gasoline to the fire because our vibration has joined with that lower vibration to fight against it. And we keep it going. But being for something and against nothing is a powerful thing. there's nothing to get in the way. In the book of Timothy, we read, "No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and like the other, or he will honor one and despise the other." When we're not feeling the good we're created to feel, we're not creating the good that we've been created to create. When negative emotions blur our vision of who we truly are, we lose sight of what we really want. That's when it's time for us to take a time out and reboot our vibration. It's the best thing. It's truly the only thing that we can do for ourselves and this world. Annie Lamott wrote, "Almost everything will work again if you unplug it for a few minutes, including you." Whenever we choose to be the best version of ourselves, no matter what may be going on, we align with the light within us, and we become a light in the world. As light shines within us and enlightens us, it's easy for our thoughts and our behaviors to go in the direction of what we truly want for ourselves and the world. When the light we are shines within us, it also shines through us and into this world. And darkness disappears in the light without a fight. Because darkness is nothing at all. Namaste. All righty. Well, this is the time of our service when we say thank you once more. Thank you again for being here. Thank you for being you. I know you can't be anyone but you, but thank you for being your true you. It's a beautiful thing to experience here, and thank you for watching live stream and for commenting when you do. It's very meaningful. And thank all of you for supporting us financially, because we can't do this way without financial support. And we've got some plans for this year. So because our treasurer couldn't be with us this morning, I'm just going to, it doesn't mean that her call last week is not going to go unspoken. She asked for all of us who give, sometimes, to give regularly. And she asked those who don't give at all to give. It seems like something that would feel natural to us to do. There's not one of us who walks into a department store and picks out something we like and decides to walk out without checking out first. There's not one of us that goes to a fine restaurant and assumes that the food is free and the chef doesn't have to come out and say, "Hey, would you please pay for that? Because I know it nourished your body and I know you enjoyed it." But we do. We not-for-profits need to remind that it's important to give regularly. And that's from our treasurer. And that felt good to say. And if you're wondering how to do that, because you haven't yet, or you don't give regularly because you keep forgetting how to do it, this is for you. You can give on our Facebook, right where you're watching right now, site. It's facebook.com/Life Enrichment Center. You can give on our website, which is lecflint.com. You can give through PayPal, and our email address is lec2512@gmail.com, and by check to the Life Enrichment Center, P.O. Box 321294, Flint, Michigan 48532. And those are the ways. But those ways don't have a meaning unless your heart gets going on it, unless you feel it, unless you put those feelings into action. So I did it not as wonderfully elegant as our treasurer, but you got the message. And if you don't know, Janice is writing it all down right now. And if you're watching, you're seeing that. It's all right there. So, yeah. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for knowing that. Thank you for feeling that. Thank you for your hearts. Thank you for your minds. Thank you for being the LEC that I always knew LEC could be. Full of love, full of caring, full of support. It's a beautiful thing that we do, and it's all thanks to you. So, we're going to listen to our Marcia Allen. Thank God for recordings. We don't have many, but we have this. And it's beautiful to hear the vibration of a voice that we love, that loves us. So we'll listen to Marcia singing in this very room, and I'll be back for a gratitude prayer. Thank you.